My favorite thing is when someone says, oh, we got our flowers from Robertson's. You know, we're so fortunate to have such an established relationship in our community. And we get so many people who will come in for a wedding consultation and they'll say, you did my mom's wedding and my grandmother's wedding. And we love that. I mean, we don't want a customer for a day. We always say we want them for a lifetime. So to do that for generations is pretty special. My great-great-grandfather was a landscaper for some of the estates in Chestnut Hill, and he bought a property on Germantown Avenue more so to store everything. And I believe 10 or 15 years into that, having the storefront, my great-grandmother started selling flowers out on the street during the Great Depression. And her siblings, which would have been the second generation, kind of established Robertson's as a floral business rather than a landscaper, and kind of took that and ran with it. And back then you couldn't just walk around the corner and get a flower in any store. It was kind of a big deal, you know, that we were the people that had that product. You know, we have archives of letters. It was a very tight-knit community, and the relationships with the customers were very personal in a lot of ways because it was your neighbor. Nowadays we still have that. We try and maintain that, but it's a different world we're living in. But back then, you know, a handwritten note to one of the family members saying thank you for that arrangement for this occasion was often something we'd get. Flower businesses are often, you know, family businesses, and I grew up in and around the company and the workplace and the office, and it sounds so cliche, but it was like one big family. A lot of family members who had family members who worked there, so it wasn't like I was just a family member of, you know, a Robertson person. It was like, well, everyone had family that worked there. Lots of employees had kids who would drive and wrap and wash buckets and do all the same things I did, so it was one big family type feeling.
I started working with Robertson's after I graduated college. I had my best friend's mom working here for most of her life. She said there was an opening to help with holiday decorating, and that's how I started, and then that transitioned into helping hands for the first flower show I was a part of. I graduated with a degree in psychology and didn't think I would be doing anything like this, but it kind of really grabbed me, and here I am 7 years in. I think it was something I was secretly looking for, because I think growing up, you know, I was a little artsy and had a creative side and never really had an outlet. My best friend's mom, who brought me in, was an artist in her own house and loves gardening, and, you know, I'd always be getting in trouble getting too close to certain plants and certain trees that she had, and once I started doing it, I think I sort of got it, you know.
So we were part of the flower show over 100 years ago, and at that point it was the big estates would have their gardener propagate something out of season, and then you'd bring it to the show. The craft was more or less your knowledge and ability, not so much artistic at that point. It was just how good of a, you know, green thumb gardener, landscaper are you to grow something challenging out of season and have it bloom at the perfect time. For our history, you know, the people to me are the most cherished, but like a physical artifact like this is the oldest. A medallion from the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society to George Robertson, gardener to the Newbold Estate, given on December 17th, 1901 for a plant at one of the first flower shows, I would have to assume, but it's pretty great to know that our connection with PHS goes back that far, and it's great to have such a piece of history for the flower show and our company.
I think with our design this year, we kind of wanted to be a sort of love letter to where we're all kind of based. Not only here working at Robertson's, but the people who are familiar with Robertson's in Chestnut Hill and who have maybe grown up, different generations who know that store and know its reputation, and kind of bring that nostalgia out for anybody who's familiar with us, as well as the people who work here themselves. The idea is we're taking all these bay windows, and it's going to be sort of a walk through time as Robertson's has walked through time, the last 100 years almost. And each window will represent a different decade with that decade's style, and we're going to kind of visualize that as you walk around and see how it's progressed over time and how Robertson's has grown with it. And, you know, the first early years will kind of show the humble beginnings, and as we walk around, it'll become more extravagant and kind of what it's become today. I want to have all the designers here have their own little piece of the show itself, because as much as the show is about the roots of Robertson's and roots in Chestnut Hill, it's also about the roots of the people who work here, and we have so many people who have come from all over the world that work here. And the way I like to think about it is I'm sort of just building a playground for all of our main designers to do their thing and to get out of the daily orders and do something that they truly want to do and have fun with and experiment with their own styles.
For David to allow everybody to kind of have their piece within it is such a testament, to how we try and be as a company and let everybody be a part of it.
To me, I still feel like a bit of a visitor. Like it's been 7 years, but it still feels like there's so much depth that I've yet to be a part of. And I still only know it on a surface level, and I hope to keep growing with it and learn as I go and become part of it.
It's a pretty incredible thing to be a part of that family, and it's my turn to do my best to steward this company into the future, but so much of what we are is who we are, and that's not just my family, that's all the incredible people that work here. And I think the hardest thing to do for so long would be to not lose sight of who you are, I would say, and this unending strive to just be the best as far as the highest quality product, the highest level of service. To maintain it for so long, I think is an incredible feat. To those that came before me, now it's my job to keep it going.